So, who doesn't like dinosaurs, right? Like, we can all agree dinosaurs are pretty awesome. But I think people forget that dinosaurs, not only were they awesome, but also really scary. Of course, we all know from like recent movies such as Primitive War and of course Jurassic Park that dinosaurs and man don't mix. And I've done a short video of this on this subject, but I thought I would just kind of extend it out into something a little longer to talk about some other animals that personally I'm glad are extinct because these would be total nightmares. So I'm going to list off a couple dinosaurs that would probably be better, that you should be probably glad are no longer around. So without further ado, let's get started. So I think people mostly think of raptors or the Rex as threats, as credible threats to humanity. And you'd be right. However, I think megatheropods like T-Rex, Giganotosaurus, Spinosaurus, the vast majority of them wouldn't see us as viable prey. Now, yes, would they still kill us? Absolutely. Whether hypothetically, if a Rex was wounded and looking for easier food, or it was for territory and they were killing us off if we got too close to their territory or their nests. And of course, raptors like Utahraptor, Deinonychus, any dromaeosaurid you could think of, those things are probably going to kill you without a second thought and eat you. You are prey to those raptors. But I think people forget, and I do stress that I think this is important to note, incredibly important to note, that one of the biggest threats to mankind would not only be medium carnivores. I mean, large carnivores, yes, and raptors, but I think medium carnivores would probably be another credible threat to humanity. Ceratosaurus, people don't really think highly of that dinosaur. He was basically the jackal of the Jurassic era, hunting more like small dinosaurs or just kind of scavenger, really. But in a world where it could easily hunt down and kill people our size, that thing would be a constant predator to mankind. It found food that is easy enough for it to capture and kill. Then you have the abelisaurids like Carnotaurus, Majungasaurus, and a few others. Those animals were more than capable of bringing down things our size and would absolutely go after us. And the other scary thing about the abelisaurids is that, for the most part, these animals would, for lack of a better word, be able to run you down. No problem. These animals would be able to run you down without a second thought, and they were built for speed. Now, granted, you could probably do there was a special muscle in the abelisaurs, especially Carnotaurus's body, that would give it a speed boost, so to speak. But however, it was only for a straight line. So if you could do a serpentine on the Carnotaurus, you'd probably be safe, but you probably ain't getting that far. Now, as for other carnivores, again, a good majority of the tyrannosaurids would probably see us more as nuisances than anything else. But there is another animal out there that is terrifying and is a massive the moment I learned about this animal and it was real, I was like, there is no way on God's green earth that should exist. And that is Gigantoraptor. Imagine Gigantoraptor, if you've ever seen Oviraptor. Oviraptor was called the egg thief, but it turned out, no, those were the eggs of its nest. And it looks like a tiny cassowary. Now imagine a cassowary the size of a bus. And also these things were omnivorous. So they were very opportunistic when it comes to hunting. So I have no doubt in my mind that Gigantoraptor, again, imagine a cassowary the size of a bus. And just put that in your head. You can't, right? Mentally, you just can't. But imagining that animal coming at you would be absolutely terrifying. Now, let's talk about some other dinosaurs. Because I've talked a lot about carnivores and omnivores. But I think people, and I talked about this before in my short video, is that it's not the carnivores I think we should be really worried about. It's the herbivores. As I've said before, what animal kills more people than any other in Africa? Hippopotamus. What animal kills most people in America? It's not bears, it's deer. What animal kills more people in most countries? It's a herbivore, because most animals are built for, most herbivores are built for that fight or flight instinct, and that's really how it goes most of the time, is that they live in a constant state of fight or flight, and most animals will pick fight, especially if you were an animal that, let's take Triceratops, for example. Triceratops, according to new studies, has been discovered that through new studies that Triceratops was not a smart animal, didn't have great eyesight, probably didn't have great sense of smell or anything, but it probably had a really bad temper, probably because its biggest op was the T-Rex. So an animal with horns made of pure bone, big as a semi-truck, and also really short temper, yeah, that thing's going to be goring people left and right. Remember, the Cape Buffalo is another animal that, imagine like a Cape Buffalo with longer horns. Like, that's how I imagine Triceratops. On top of that, you also have, sauropods. Even if they didn't see humans as a threat, they'd probably just step on you because you got too close to them, whether by on purpose or not, or just whip you in half with their tail. These animals, I think we need to get rid of that whole thought process that herbivores are your friends, because they're not. They're herbivores for them. The Parasaurolophus or Hadrosaur. They're friendly. They're just duck-billed friends. No, they're not. They will view you as a threat to their nest and do everything in their power just to stomp the ever-living shit out of you. Yeah. And finally, for the last animal, I'm kind of glad the last animal I'm glad isn't around, and I don't want to make this video too long, but the one that I'm really happy about isn't even a dinosaur. It's a flying reptile. And yes, it is the Asdarchids, the type of pterosaur that come from Quetzalcoatlus, Hasagopteryx, those kind of pterosaurs. Quetzalcoatlus, who is capable of not only flying at 80 miles an hour, not kidding, and they were the size of an F-22, excuse me, an F-16, but they also were capable of running, yes, running, I'm not joking, at 22 miles an hour. That's how they hunted, was they would fly down, get on all fours, then chase down the prey on all fours. If that doesn't scream horror, also, they would probably be like a pelican and eat you alive. Keep that in mind. If above all else, I'm really glad Quetzalcoatlus is the one that's not around anymore. So there you go, guys. I just thought I'd do this as a fun video. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what are some prehistoric animals you're glad are not around anymore? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.